Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there and welcome back. It is your host, Cesar Espino at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Diane Forster. Hey, Diane, how are you today?
Hey, Cesar, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. Before we dive in, let me give the listeners and viewers a little bit of your background, and then we can get started. So, right. Diane is an award-winning inventor, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, TV host, podcaster, international living expert, and Re-Invention specialist. She works with clients privately and helps you clear away mindset blocks and limiting beliefs that can block you from reaching your full potential in business, life, and relationships. Diane is the CEO and founder of I Have Today. She is the best-selling author of I Have Today, Find Your Passion, Purpose, and Smile. Finally, her live TV show along her podcast, I Have Today with Diane Forster, and all her other transformational products programs help people live enriched, empower, inspiring lives through their transition to reinvent themselves. Diane's career began in advertising and TV sales, including Disney ABC. She's also the inventor of the Spifter, a fun kitchen tool that won an innovation award at the International Houseware Show in Chicago. Diane has been featured on ABC, QVC, the Chicago Tribune, San Diego Voyager, Business News Daily, and many other TV, radio, and podcast shows. She has written articles for Inventors Digest magazine and writes an inspiring weekly blog. Diane is the mother of twins and lives in San Diego. Her mission is to see that 1 billion people who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. And oh my God, like so much going on, and definitely want to dive into all of that. Before we do that, though, I want to know more about you and you growing up. And were you born in San Diego, or where are you originally from?
No, I was actually born and raised in New York. My family moved from New York to California when I was 17. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. It was a very traumatic time of life for me. But of course it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. But so we moved cross country when I was 17 and I graduated high school. I went to San Diego State, which is where I fell in love with San Diego. And then got a job in advertising in LA and worked in that industry for 8 years before moving to Chicago to get married and switched from the ad business to television sales business. So I spent 24 years in that industry, and the last 20 I was with ABC, Disney ABC. So I grew up in New York, lived in LA, lived in Chicago. Now I'm in San Diego. I've been in San Diego almost 5 years now. So
wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So let me ask you something. Like growing up, was it your dream to be in the TV, radio industry, or what was it you growing up? What was it that you were trying to be?
You know, it's so interesting because I didn't have the aspirations back then that I have now. I really didn't. I grew up in a small town on Long Island, and I really, my big dream and vision at the time was to, work in Manhattan. I wanted to be a secretary or in some position working in some office in Manhattan. And then it evolved, and I thought I wanted to be a court reporter. So there's a story there. I went to San Diego State for a year and then ended up getting a job over the summer, a temp job at an ad agency. And they ended up offering me a job after I was there for 2 weeks. And I thought, well, I have my foot in the door here. Seems like a great industry. It wasn't even on my radar yet, but I think I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to take this position. And at the time, it was early 80s, and it was for $13,500 a year, which I thought was like $1 million.
Yeah.
And so I decided to go to court reporting school at night. I thought, well, let me work full time, and then I'll go to court reporting school. Well, 2 years into that, I realized, wait a minute, I had to learn medical terminology, legal terminology. And I thought, wait, if I'm going to come out of this and I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, and I'm going to be stuck behind a machine all day taking dictation of what other people are saying, that's just not my personality. So I walked away from that, and I had my foot in the door at the agency. And I said, well, what do I really love about being here? And I thought, well, I really like media, and I want to pursue a position in the media department. So that's what happened for me. And it truly was, I guess the message there for anyone who's listening is, I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have the grand plan. I just follow, which we'll talk a lot about. I just follow the next right step, or put one foot in front of the other, and not having to have it all figured out. Well, by having that attitude and taking the position in the media department, it turned into a 32-year career in advertising and television sales for me. And so it wasn't until I was in the agency, started working, that, again, I had this epiphany that, wait a minute, this is as far as I think I want to go. I had reached media supervisor level, and I thought, I think I really want to switch to the sales side. They look like they're having way more fun. They're working way less. They're making way more money. That's what I want to do. So it's that setting that intention for it and putting it out there that made it happen for me. So, and I was really, focused. I said, I want to work. This is such a fun interview already. I don't tell this story a lot, so I'm having so much fun telling this story.
I love it.
But when I said, well, I really want to get into the sales side of this business, the television ad sales side of the business, I said, I want to work. I either want to work at ABC, or I want to work at, Group W, which at the time, Westinghouse had 5 owned and operated TV stations, and they had an in-house rep firm. So those were the 2 places that I wanted to work. And I thought that'd be really fun for me to do. I ended up working at both those places. So just goes to show you the power of intention. It's really, really something. Yeah.
No, and I love that. I think that, again, people that are listening or watching this, clearly one of the things that you have to be open to is you really got to put out the intention, and you got to be able to, even if you don't know how to do it, right? Just put out that intention and know that that's what you're trying to accomplish. And then things, I believe, little by little are going to start unveiling, and you're going to be able to accomplish that in some sort of shape or form. Right. Were there any big lessons that, if you were to look back, what were some major lessons that you learned from that journey, coming and getting into those jobs?
I would say, oh my gosh, I have so much to say in general, but I think the lesson is truly, you do not have to have it all figured out. You don't. You just need to know the next right move for you, the next desire for you. And, I'm very much into law of attraction, and I'm a powerful manifester. Clearly, I put the intention out for those 2 things, for that to happen. And actually what happened, Cesar, is I didn't even have to interview for those jobs. Both of those companies called me. Wow. They had openings. Rarely had openings, but all of a sudden they had an opening, and the manager at Group W called me, and she said, I want you to know I'm leaving this position. Somebody new is coming in, but we have an opening, and I already told the incoming manager about you. So it was a layup. I literally walked in and got handed the job. And then the same thing happened at ABC. I got called from them. So there's a powerful lesson and message in there that if you want something, don't be attached to how it's going to show up. all you need to know is the what and the why. What you want and why you want it. And the why could be just as simple as, because I think it'd be fun, or it would feel good, or I'd like that. It doesn't have to be something so serious. It could just be, it's truly, in fact, it's better when it's just a desire, truly a desire. So that's the lesson. Don't push up against things. Go with your gut, follow the path, because the road zigs and zags. It's not straight line from point A to point B. It's always going to, curve around, have detours. You got to be able to ebb and flow with that. And all you need to know is the next right move for you.
Yeah. What would be your advice in terms of that? Because a lot of people see it as being just a nice straight line, and obviously that is not the case, right? And so a lot of people, when they get diverted, or they feel like we're doing so good and now they're getting to where not so good, and they don't see that, they give up, right? They end up not continue to move forward. And so what would be your advice, being the fact that you've gone and done so much for yourself, to say don't continue? Like, how would you approach that?
Well, I want to answer that question, but I need to preface it because I think we need to share part of this story. And my story looks like, oh my gosh, she's done everything right. Not at all. Not at all. My creation of I Have Today came from a suicide attempt. So I definitely had a breaking moment in my life too, which I'm happy to talk about. But so don't listen to me or look at me and think, oh, she's just had it easy. Everything she says she wants, she gets. It's not at all the case. I've just learned so much in my, almost 4 full decades of working, a lot of lessons along the way. So for someone, and especially right now with everything that's happening in the world, there's a lot of people who are rethinking their lives, their careers, their relationships, their health, their vulnerability, their freedom, and they're being called to, on a energetic level, to go within, to go inside as we're stuck inside. And so they're asking themselves a lot of questions about, what's this all for? And am I really happy? And what do I want to do? And what if this all does go away? What if I can't go back to that thing that I thought was that stability? What if that happens to me? What will my life look like? And I want to say to you, this is the perfect opportunity to look at this dismantling and this breaking down as your next breakthrough. Something powerful, something good, something amazing is going to come out of this for you, even if you don't know what that is yet. So my advice is, ask yourself a lot of questions. That's what I do in my work. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself the right questions. Like, what's really true for me? Not what I think should be true for me, but what's really true? What do I want? And why do I want it? And when I have this thing that I want, what will my life look like? What will it feel like? Who will be interacting in my life? What's my day-to-day life going to be like? What is that definition for me? What brings me joy? What brings me happiness? Because we're never, ever done. That feeling like, oh, I just want to get settled. I just want this thing to happen so that I can just feel settled and secure. It doesn't happen. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we came here to create. We're creators, and we evolve and expand and grow. And if we're not evolving, expanding, and growing, then we're dying. So we've got to be able to say, all right, well, okay, that's happening now. So what's next? We go into solution mode to these problems. And entrepreneurs, honestly, have an easier time with this than people who are not entrepreneurial, because, and I've been both, 32 years in corporate and now 5 full-time years as an entrepreneur. So I've seen both sides of it. The entrepreneurial mindset will say, all right, well, it's time to pivot. It's time to innovate. It's time to rethink. How can I serve? How can I take who I am, all the assets that I have, all my skills, all my gifts, and take that and turn that into something tangible that serves others and serves me and pays me really well, that I find joy and fulfillment in? Like, these are all really powerful questions. If you start asking yourself questions like this, your brain is going to go into solution mode. It's going to find those things for you, and all of a sudden ideas are going to start popping into your head in a really amazing, creative, fun way. So it's a lot of the work that I do is I help people reinvent their lives, very, very intentionally.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely very powerful. And just to reinforce that, I think even in times like this, what we're going through right now with the COVID-19 or this particular era, I always, one of the things that I said is that, if you don't come out of this with something new, a new idea, a better relationship, or whatever the case may be, a lot of times it wasn't a lack of time, because I know prior to this, many people will complain about, I don't have enough time, and there's not enough time for me to be a good father, a good husband, a good mother, whatever the case may be, or even to learn something new. And I say, if you come out of this with not at least one small skill or something new, something different, then it wasn't a lack of time. It was a lack of discipline, or it was a lack of direction. It was a lack of not having those things for you to really take that to the next level, right? And then the other thing too, I really like what you mentioned. I heard this from, I forget who I heard this from. Nevertheless, if you stop growing, if you stop working on yourself, if you stop doing that, then you start dying, and you just reinforce it, because it's true, right? The minute that we stop doing something, you're telling yourself, that's it. Like, there's not another purpose for you, and therefore your body starts decaying, right? It starts dying from that perspective.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you've ever noticed people who retire and then end up, passing away very, very quickly right after?
Right, because they feel like that they lost that sense of, whatever that might be, that being busy or doing something. I do want to touch a little bit on this, because, one of the things that I like to talk to my guest about is, being able to overcome some major obstacles, because I feel that the people that are listening to us or watching us might be going through something similar, or may know somebody that might be going through something similar, and they can learn from that. So I want to learn a little bit about your suicide attempts, and what was that about, and how were you able to overcome that?
Okay. Yes. So while I've been, lucky and blessed, I hate the word lucky, but blessed in my career, my personal life is what I struggled with. My marriage and relationship was not good. I was in a marriage for 20 years to a very nice man who we loved each other, but we were not in love with each other. And it was not a good relationship. And it was very toxic and narcissistic. And it was a secret that I kept hidden to the outside world. I just didn't want anyone to know, because the packaging of my life looked so good. But what was going on with me internally was a completely different story. And I just kept hoping it would get better. And I struggled in that relationship. And I had been in a family and surrounded by a lot of divorce, and I did not want to be another one of those statistics. And so struggling in and out of therapy and all sorts of things happened. One of the things was my mom got sick and died of colon cancer. And that was really just a tragic time in my life. I lost her. She was 53 years young when she passed away. And I struggled with that and had to overcome that. And as I was, dealing with my mom's cancer, or we were dealing with my mom's cancer and her, her therapy and her treatments and everything that we were going through, I was flying back and forth from Chicago to LA doing that. And at the same time I was doing that, I was trying to get pregnant. And that wasn't happening. And I had just started the job at ABC after leaving, Group W. And so I had this trifecta time going on in my life where I had no idea which way was up. And so my mother ended up passing away. And the month after she died, I got pregnant with my twins. And so life became all about the kids, which happens to a lot of couples. And so our relationship got worse and worse, and my needs kept getting further and further pushed back on the back burner. And so you can't live like that indefinitely. And I just kept up a good front for as long as I possibly could, until the moment that I couldn't. And I had a breaking moment. It was June 25th, 2011. It was a regular Saturday. We were busy running around, taking the kids to and from practices and errands. And we went to some friend's house for a barbecue that night. And there were a bunch of families there, and everyone was having a great time. And when we got in the car to go home, the fighting started. And when I got home, I just snapped. And I went upstairs in the bathroom and I locked the door. And I took out 2 full bottles of prescription pain pills that I had sitting in that cabinet from a surgery I had the year before to have part of my colon removed, because the stress of my life was literally killing me. It was literally eating away at me. And my mother died of colon cancer. So here I was heading down that same path. And so as I stood there in the bathroom with the pills in my hand, a force knocked them out of my hand. And a voice screamed in my ear, "You are not ending your life this way, Diane. You need to go get help so that you can tell your story and you can help others." And I threw my hands in the air and I said, "Well, you need to show me the way, because I don't know how. I don't know what to do." And so I cleaned up the mess and flushed those pills, kissed my kids goodnight. And the very next day, I reached out for help. And I said, "I need help. I am changing my life." And so that started me down the path of self-discovery and spiritual awakening and personal development. And I started healing in this really incredible way. And what started happening for me is it took another 6 months or so to get out of that relationship. But then I really started implementing practices. I had studied so much information. I was just like a sponge absorbing everything. But I started implementing and creating my own practices and processes that worked for me, that allowed me the opportunity in a moment to get aligned, empowered, and intentional. And so that I could be moving through my life with confidence and focus and clarity and direction. And all of a sudden, all of these intuitive gifts that I have that lie dormant forever started getting dialed way up. So I had already invented the spifter, but I started creating and writing, and poetry and stories were coming out of me. And so 2 years after my bathroom moment, I woke up with a poem in my head called "I Have Today." And when I finished writing "I Have Today," I looked down at it and said, "This is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is what God was talking about in the bathroom 2 years ago. I'm supposed to help others who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. Because if I was living in this quiet hell, living this secret, how many other millions of people are living like this too?" And so it birthed the idea for me. And so that led me down. Then 2 years after that, I was thinking I wanted to write a book. I knew I wanted to speak. I knew I wanted to, do something and use my life and use my story and use my healing journey to reinvent myself. And so 2 years after the poem, my twins graduated high school and I quit my job at ABC with no net. I sold my house and everything in it. I got them off to college and I moved from Chicago to San Diego with the mantra that has served me my whole life, which is, let's just see where this goes. And so that started this whole journey into I Have Today. I wrote my book. I got certified as a coach. I started speaking. I started my TV show. I started the podcast. And, effective June 1st, we're launching a new series, a new live TV show. So
nice.
It's just been extraordinary being able to really define and own that and overcome it. I owned it. I owned everything about what happened to me. I did not blame. In fact, I forgave my former husband. I forgave everyone and everything. But most of all, I forgave myself for that, beating ourselves up of I shoulda, woulda, coulda, that whole thing that happens to us. And the forgiveness was such a powerful, integral part of being able to catapult forward. and make these life-changing decisions.
No, and I really love that. When people start looking at it from that perspective, and sometimes we forget, we were so easy at blaming somebody else or not taking that ownership, right?
Right.
Number one. Number two, being able to forgive not only just the people that might have done or not done anything to you, whether you did something to them or not, being able to forgive them and forgive yourself, I think is very, very powerful. I remember at one point in my life, I was saying to myself, to be rich and wealthy inside out, you have to be at peace with yourself and everybody else. And I don't mean it on a monetary perspective. I'm talking about being rich and wealthy as a person, right? You have to be at peace with yourself and everybody else. And when you can embrace that, you can definitely get ahead further in your journey, right? So when you look at I have today, I can see where that came from and where that grew. Is there a particular meaning to I have today
Yes.
in that? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. It's truly all we have. All you have is today. Yesterday is done. Your past is behind you. Your future is an unknown, right? We can work towards goals, dreams, and desires for the future, but it's always today. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So the power in I have today, I teach a 3-step process that I write about in my book about really being able to live intentionally the I have today way. And I'll break it down really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. I have a free video training. If you're interested, I can give you the link to that after. But the 3-step process of living the I have today way is love it, thank it, bring it. And love it stands for love your life, no matter what has happened to you, no matter what happened to me. And there was a lot to forgive there, Cesar. I don't, I talk about it in my book, but there was a lot to really let go of, and just things from your past. It doesn't matter what has happened to you. You need to love your life because you have a life to love, especially now with what's going on. 153,000 people did not wake up today, but you did. And so this is your life to love, and it's such a gift. And even the pain has been there to teach you things. You've learned resilience, you've learned strength, you've learned discernment, you've learned clarity about what you want versus what you don't want. There's so many gifts in the pain. And so that's what love it stands for. Thank it is to live in gratitude and appreciation for where you are right now. All the big things and all the little things. Be grateful for the bed that you get to sleep in, because you know how many people on the planet never know that feeling. The water that you get to turn on a faucet, and people die every day from drinking contaminated water. I mean, all the little things and all the big things as well. And it's really living in that place of gratitude and appreciation. Say thank you as many times as you can during the day. My assistant, I must say thank you to her 50 times a day. You know, when you're writing out your rent check or your mortgage, say thank you for keeping me, sheltered and protected. You go out for food or go to get groceries. Thank you for providing me with nutrition. Just look for the gratitude in everything, because that appreciation will appreciate. I call it opens up the portal to abundance for the universe to bring you more. And then bring it is the power piece of it. That's how you intentionally create your future. And bring it means, how are you showing up? How are you bringing it today? Knowing that you love your life, no matter what's happened, you're grateful for it and living in thankfulness for it. And then the bring it is, how are you showing up? How are you showing up in your mindset, in your attitude, in your love life, in your health, in your mindset, in your relationships, in this interview right now with you? Am I bringing it? It's that level of intention where all you have today is to squeeze the juice out of every second of this day. And by living that way with that level of intention, you are going to be surprised and delighted all day, every day. You're going to feel happiness every single day. Maybe not all day, every day, but you will find moments of joy and happiness in every day. And your life will continue to have this compound interest of just keep getting better and better and better.
I love that. And you also talked about there's 6 words you need to replace to positively change your life. Can we go through those 6 words?
We sure can. And I have video training on this too. So I'm a master of language, and how I really help my clients is we do a lot of different processes, but we focus a lot on language. So if you're somebody who is a fan of law of attraction and it's not working for you, this is probably the reason why. You do the, the intentional work in the morning. Maybe you're meditating, maybe you're visualizing, maybe you're doing your affirmations, maybe you've got vision boards, whatever it is, even getting to that feeling place. But how are you operating throughout the rest of your day? How are you speaking about yourself and others? How are you using language? So here we go. The top 6 are: you replace worry with wonder. There is no need to worry. Worry is a wasted emotion. If I could remove any word from the English language, that would be the first one I would remove. Think about all the things that you've worried about in your life. So when you go to feel the word worry, like I'm worried about my kids, or I'm worried I'm going to lose my job, replace it with wonder. I wonder what it would feel like to get something even better. I wonder what it would be like to know that I'm fine. I've always been fine. I've always been okay. I've always had everything I need. I never worry about my kids. I always wonder that they have everything they need. They're having a great day. And so that's the energy I'm pushing out. The second word is replace your fear with faith. Now, again, think of all the things that you're fearful about. Instead, have faith and trust. I think it was Joe Vitale. He said in his book, one of his books, I think it's Money Loves Speed, we don't create abundance, we create limitations. The abundance is already here. We're the ones that create the limitation. So think about the fact that I stepped over that line of fear to faith to move and totally reinvent my life. And the universe keeps bringing me the most extraordinary gifts. So replace that fear with faith. The next word is replace your doubt with determination. So I'll just give you a quick example from me. The doctor told me I would never be able to have children. He just said, we're sorry. It was after several procedures, a lot of time, a lot of fear, a lot of hiccups, all of those things, that could come in. And when he sat in the recovery room, when he shared that with me, I just looked at him and I said, well, that's just not an option. I will have children. There has to be another way. I just didn't let doubt anywhere in the vicinity. I moved and operated with determination. So live with determination. Whatever it is you want, you're entitled to it. You're worthy of having it. No judgment needs to be there. Be determined to go after the dream life that you desire and you deserve. So the next one is to replace anxiety with anticipation. So if you think about anxiety is full of negative energy. You're anxious about something. Anxiety is projected fear and worry into the future. But what if it was anticipation? So right now, with everything that's going on here, and now you need to choose the lens that you're looking at what's happening in the world right now. What is the lens you're choosing to look at? Are you facing it in fear and scarcity mind thinking? Or if you're looking at this as this is an opportunity to reset and all is going to be okay. This is just the disruption that happens before that breakthrough happens. How are you choosing to look at it? So isn't there a lot of anticipation to see what's going to happen? How is it going to unfold? It's really kind of empowering, actually, when you live your life that way. The next word is, I got to go through my list. I'm doing this from the top of my head. Wait, so I did worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, trepidation with trust. So you need to be, when you do this, like step forward, but step back. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, but I don't have the money. Or, I'd love to do that, but I don't have the time. This dance thing that you're doing, you are literally blocking off your manifestations from coming from you. You've shut off the field. The field can't come in. You are doing this dance. So trust. If you want to do it, do it. When you focus your mind and you use your heart mind, the Heart Math Institute, we validated this. There's thinking capacity in the heart. So when I feel something in my heart, that's a definite yes. Immediately I go. If it doesn't feel right, I feel it more in my gut. But if I wait and I hesitate, then my mind gets involved, right? The brain, the subconscious is going to do what it's designed to do, which is keep you in fear, keep you safe from the saber-toothed tiger, be right, be small, right? So, being able to trust that gut instinct or that heart lead or whatever that is for you, wherever you feel your yeses and nos in your body could be different. Usually the heart is the yes. It's just like, oh, it just feels good. It feels right. This makes me feel good. Go with it. Go, go, go. Trust that everything's going to be okay. There are no mistakes. There are only lessons along the way. Whenever you decide and do make a decision, if it turns out not to be the right road, you can make a new decision. So there are no mistakes. So replace that trepidation with trust. And the last one is stress with surrender. So while worry is my least favorite word, surrender is my most favorite word. Surrender is not a sign of weakness. Surrender means when you're pushing up against something and you're stressed out about it and you feel that negative energy, you are causing more harm than you know. What you need to do is just surrender it. Say, I give it up. I give it up to you, universe. I give it up to you, God, whatever it is, and back away from that stress, because you're not going to solve that problem from that same state. Tony Robbins has said this, we can't, and Deepak Chopra has said this, we can't solve a problem from the same state the problem was created, right? So you got to get away from that and you got to surrender it. Go take a walk, go get a drink of water, go take a nap, go call somebody and be there for somebody. Change that state, surrender away from it so that the universe you can allow the universe to download whatever that idea or that thought is that is the solution to your situation. So let go of stress. Don't even say that word. Don't even say it. Even just the enunciation of it causes you to have it. So I've worked with a lot of people to remove that word out of their vocabulary. So
yeah. No, I really love this. And it's funny. I just did a video a couple of days back, and I was talking about that same topic, which is words do matter, and the words that we use matter so much. And we have to be very conscious of what we're using. On top of that, not only the words that we use that we're portraying out to other people or how we're speaking those words, the words that we're speaking to ourselves. And sometimes we're so easy to tell us, oh, you could have done this better, or you're dumb, or you had a stupid idea. And you're telling these things to yourself instead of changing that framing and saying, changing that framing and doing more of more positive affirmations. Like a lot of times we talk down to ourselves without even realizing that. And we have to be able to change that. So the words do matter in many different aspects. And I totally agree with that. So I have a couple more questions before I let you go. If people wanted to reach out to you, wanted to work with you on a one-on-one basis, how can they find you?
Well, I offer a complimentary strategy session. So you can find that at dianeforster.com, DianeForster. It's on my coaching page. So grab a spot there. And what I'd really like to offer you is my video training, where I teach the 3-step blueprint on how to create a have-it-all life, which is what I was talking about at the beginning with love it, thank it, bring it. And I go deeper into that, how to really, process that and how to really use bring it to manifest, your desired life. So that is at myhaveitalllife.com. myhaveitalllife.com. So you can find me there.
Okay, awesome.
And, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I teach, I speak about the 6 words you need to replace, and I have a video training on my YouTube channel. So I've got tons of resources out there.
Awesome. And then you've already given us a lot of great tips and nuggets. And I wanted to see if there's one more that you can give us. If people are going through a challenging time right now, what would you tell them that they can do so they can start overcoming that challenge?
Reach out for help. Reach out to me or any other coach, anybody else out there. There's complimentary sessions everywhere. Do not do this alone. There are others who have paved the way, who can help and support you. don't do it alone. Please reach out for help. And that's what we, healers, light workers, coaches, consultants, that's what we're here for. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. It was coaches and mentors that saved me. So please, you can't read the label from inside your bottle, right? So you can't really see yourself the way somebody else can see you, and others see you in the most beautiful, extraordinary way, and they can help pull all of that, your gifts and your grace and your brilliance out of you for you to help and support you. Please reach out for help.
Awesome. I love it. And are there any particular habits, Tony Robbins talks about them as rituals, that you do on a day-to-day basis to keep you in this positive mindset?
I do. I'll share my morning routine. So I wake up every day and I keep a 20-ounce bottle of water on my bed nightstand table, and I drink that whole thing as soon as I wake up. Get hydrated right away. And I stand up and I starfish my arms and legs out, and I look up at the sky and I say, I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And so I set that intention. I put it out there right away to see miracles and experience miracles all day. And then I do my nurture, my spirit, mind, and body. So I'll go meditate, and then I'll write in my journal, and then I'll go exercise. I'll go move my body. So the first 2 hours of my day, I set my alarm at 5 o'clock, sometimes at 4:30. That first 2 hour window is all for me, so that I now have so much to give the rest of the world. And it sets me up for success every single day. So you can really, really benefit by I call it being selfish in a really good way. Be selfish. Be good to yourself. You came into this world as one, and you're going to leave it as one. Take care of you first.
Yeah, so. I love that. I always say, make sure that you take care of this vehicle called your body that is taking you through this journey called life. And when you do that, you can definitely create something awesome.
Yes. So true.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share before I let you go?
Well, I would love for you to follow me on social media, Diane Forster Official. And then my podcast and TV show are I Have Today with Diane Forster. As I said, I'm premiering my live show on June 1st on E360 TV, but it's going to be available on several platforms, on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm going to be doing live mentoring on the show. So be sure to catch it. Subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to it and keep up with it. And I look forward to getting to know you and serving you. So thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Cesar.
Yeah, no, definitely, Diane. Thank you so much. I had a really good time with you today. So once again, thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. And for the rest of you guys, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment in this podcast. Please make sure you share this. Somebody needs to hear this message. Please make sure you share this with all of your friends. And please stay tuned for the next podcast. You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Have a good day. Bye.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you tuned in to this podcast. You can find me at Spreaker.com, where you can like and subscribe. And to learn more about myself and my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at Facebook under Cesar R. Espino. Once again, thanks for joining me. I am looking forward to having you at the next episode, and know that you truly can overcome anything.